So thanks to Ubisoft, I've been playing Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown for around a week now before the official launch tomorrow. A big thank you to Ubisoft and especially Laura for the opportunity. And so today I'm going to be giving you guys my initial review on the game, having played probably around 15 to 16 hours so far. There will be no spoilers in this video, and none of the gameplay is from any later on than maybe 5 or 6 hours into the game, just so that you guys can experience the game for yourselves if you are planning on playing. Now, for context, I'm not that much of a platformer type of guy. I definitely don't dislike platformers or Metroidvania type of games, but they're just not my main type of game. I'm more of a single player, like open world type of player, or more of a multiplayer shooter guy. Now, that being said, I have played plenty of like Donkey Kong and those sorts of games as a kid, and then in more recent years, I have played the Ori games and the Unravel games, but that is really about it as far as it goes when it comes to those typical platformer type of games. In terms of Prince of Persia, the only games that I've played in that franchise is the Sands of Time, and obviously that was a very different game than this one. And so that is just a little bit of context as to my thoughts overall on Prince of Persia. The first thing that I really wanted to kind of point out and give a massive praise to is the art style in this game. I think it is absolutely phenomenal. It is probably one of the coolest art styles that I've seen in a game in a very, very long time, to be honest. The last game that I can remember playing where I was, I guess, blown away by the art style was probably a game like Borderlands, for example, and those games are, they've been out for a very long time now. So they've absolutely killed it when it comes to that style and just the overall aesthetic of the game. And to add to that as well, the soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal in this game too. Now, I'm not going to lie, the game is actually a little bit harder than I initially thought it would be. I started on the hardest difficulty because I just kind of thought it wouldn't be overly difficult, and boy was I wrong. I was getting absolutely slapped early on in the game, and just for the sake of the review, just so I could actually try and make progress in the game, I actually turned it down to, I guess, the normal difficulty, the one in the middle, and it is still pretty damn difficult, I'm not going to lie. Now, the gameplay to me feels a little bit deeper when you're actually playing than it does look on video. When I've just been watching other people play, especially before I had my hands on the game looked fun, but it didn't look, that deep. It just looked like a bit of a hack and slash type of game. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it is absolutely not like that whatsoever. It has a really fun gameplay loop. It is definitely not a hack and slash. I'm sure if you put it on the easiest difficulty, you could probably make it through the game just button spamming and stuff like that. But like I said, the game is actually a little bit deeper when it comes to the gameplay and especially the combat. If I had to summarize it, I would actually say it feels like a really weird mix of Super Smash Bros. And a Souls-like game, and I know that sounds absolutely wild to say, but the game feels as though you are playing Smash Bros, yet at the same time, there is the whole like parry timing and dodging and the combo sort of elements to it that all make it blend into this really, really good combat. It's also very deep. It's not like you just have like a regular attack and that's it. There are so many different ways that you can attack your enemies using different abilities and all that kind of thing. So like I said, I think when you're watching the gameplay, if you haven't played the game, it looks pretty basic, it looks pretty simple, but it is actually a little bit deeper than I initially thought, and I'm not even crazy good at it or anything like that. So there's people out there who are probably making the gameplay look absolutely insane, and I'm sure if you guys play the game, you'll know exactly what I mean, that it is a lot deeper than it initially looks. On top of the combat, there is obviously the, I guess, Metroidvania style of the game. For those who don't know what Metroidvania means, it's essentially the type of game where as you progress, there's going to be stuff that you can't get to yet, and then you have to progress the story, at which point you'll unlock a new skill, and then you'll kind of think, oh, I can get back to that area that I was in the first hour, for example, and use this new ability to get to a different area of the map and kind of unlock a whole new section. That is generally how a Metroidvania works, and this game is very much in the same vein. There is so much hidden stuff to come back to. There's pretty much in every single room going to be something that you just can't quite get to yet until you've unlocked a new ability or have progressed the main story to actually unlock a barrier or something like that. So for those of you who love the Metroidvania style, kind of progressing through the game and then eventually being able to go back and collect all the cool rewards that you weren't able to get early, there is a hell of a lot of that. And the way the abilities work in this game, I feel like they have absolutely nailed that sort of Metroidvania style to this game. Now, something else they've done in that same, I guess, area of the game is a new system called the memory shards. Now, this is a really borderline revolutionary mechanic for a Metroidvania type of game. How the memory shards work is that when you get to an area of the map that you can't quite get to just yet, you can kind of see, there's a hidden room, for example, and you can see in there, but you just can't get in there. The memory shards allow you to pretty much take a screenshot of the exact screen that you're looking at, it will then actually place that screenshot on the map. And it means that you can remember all of these little secrets and areas that you can't get to yet, at which point when you unlock a new skill, instead of having to go back and actually figure out, okay, is this the skill that I needed to get into that area? You can actually go on the map, take a look at that screenshot you took, and you can very clearly see, oh yeah, I got this new skill and that will allow me to get there. Or it can save you the time of knowing, all right, this isn't the skill I need, and therefore I'm just going to wait until I progress the game further before going to that spot again. So the memory shards are a great idea, and I think they save a hell of a lot of time. That is probably one of my main issues with Metroidvanias, although that is part of the game. It is kind of frustrating when you can't quite remember what an area looked like. You knew there was something hidden there, for example, but you just can't remember what you needed to do to get to that new section. And this pretty much alleviates that entire issue. Now, getting back to the combat, one thing I want to say is that the boss fights in this game are so well crafted and they feel very, very rewarding. Even more so than the regular combat, these are not hack and slash boss fights. You cannot just spam attacks. You'll get absolutely slapped if you do. It requires some really good parry timing, a lot of, dodging and using your abilities and stuff like that. And it does take quite some time to actually get the health bar down on each of these bosses. So a lot of them will go for 5 to 10 minutes of just straight chaotic gameplay, just the same as it would in, like I mentioned before, a Souls-like, where you pretty much have to be really switched on and fighting a boss for pretty much 10 straight minutes just to be able to take them out. And obviously if you die, you've got to restart that all over again. Now, I know not everyone is going to love boss fights. For me, that is one of my favorite things in any game that I play, coming across a really difficult enemy where you are going to die multiple times over, but when you do finally kill that boss, it is super, super rewarding. And in my opinion, they have absolutely nailed that when it comes to Prince of Persia. Something else that, especially early on in the game, felt very, very rewarding to me was just the progression of your skills, your traversal, and even, like I mentioned, the Metroid elements of kind of unlocking something on the map that you passed a while ago. All of those elements are super rewarding and satisfying in this game, especially in the first maybe 3 to 5 hours. It feels as though every 30 or so minutes you're kind of unlocking an awesome new skill that is not only going to benefit the game in terms of being able to allow you to get to different areas, but they are genuinely fun, and they also oftentimes add to the combat as well. So a lot of these skills, for example, the mid-air dash that you get, yeah, that is obviously mainly used for your traversal and platforming, but you can actually use that really effectively in combat as well. And I feel like all of these skills also just really tie together well to where you can be pretty damn powerful once you have unlocked a lot of the skills throughout this game. Now, heading into the game, I didn't really care too much for the story, to be honest. This wasn't the type of game that I was expecting to have a really deep, intricate story, but I'm not gonna lie, I am caring more and more about this story as it goes on. Like I said, I'm about 15 to 16 hours in, so I'm probably close to, I guess, 70% through the game. And the story is actually a little bit better than I initially expected it to be. Now, with that being said, I don't think it's going to win awards. I don't think this is the best story I've ever played or anything like that. But there are just a lot of elements throughout the game where I've actually felt shocked, and there's been big twists and stuff like that. And also just a lot of mystery. It's kind of setting it up that you don't really know what's going on until later on in the game. And so if you guys were hoping for a good story, then I think you are going to be pretty pleased with this game. Like I said, that is not the main focus of a game like this, but in my opinion, the story is pretty solid overall and definitely adds to the quality of the game. Now, when it comes to the downsides, there is only really one complaint that I have, and that is that there is a lot of items that you'll kind of find throughout the game that may as well not be in the game. There's a lot of things that seem like they're going to be collectibles, and I guess they technically are collectibles, yet you'll pick this item up and it is literally just like, for example, one thing I found early on, a mirror, and it doesn't have any use. You can't, do anything with it. It is literally just a mirror that is then in your inventory. It just has like a couple of sentences worth of lore behind it, and then you just pick it up and then you just carry on with the game. Now, it's not really a negative thing towards the game. It doesn't make the game any worse, but it does kind of take away a little bit from the satisfaction of getting to an area and you can see like a shiny thing on the map that you want to go and pick up. Yet when you pick it up, like I said, it's just a mirror or something completely useless. So that's really one of the only complaints that I have about this game. There is just a lot of, I guess, fluff to the lore of the game. There's also a lot of things that you can read that seem like they're going to give you a hint or something like that, but they are literally just text, and it's just kind of adding to the lore and the world building, yet in a way that doesn't make me all that interested to actually read those big texts. So that is probably the only genuine complaint that I have about this game, that there's just a lot of stuff that may as well be removed, I guess, to keep all of the stuff in the game actually useful and worth finding. Overall, I'm really loving the game and I will 100% be finishing it ASAP. This is the type of game that, to be honest, I wasn't sure if I would actually finish it. The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered comes out later this week, and with the timing of it, I kind of just thought I'd probably play a hell of a lot of this game, and then once that comes out, I'd probably drop this game. But to be honest, I'm so addicted to Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, that I will 100% be finishing the game ASAP. And if you actually want to watch me, I'm going to be playing the game live around 4 hours after this video goes live. And even if you miss it, the VOD will still be up on the channel under the live tab. So if you just want to watch some uninterrupted gameplay of me, no doubt failing over and over again, be sure to come and check out the live stream just to see, I guess, a bit more raw gameplay than what you're seeing in this video. Overall, I'm giving the Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown an 8.5 out of 10. It is genuinely one of the best platformers or Metroidvania type of games that I've ever played in my life. Like I said, I'm not a huge platformer, so maybe that's a hot take, but obviously the other reviews out there are saying very much the same thing. So nothing but praise from me, and giving a game that I generally wouldn't play an 8.5 out of 10. That is a very, very good sign for Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. If you guys love platformers, I will say I think this is actually a must play in my opinion. If this is your style of game, then this potentially, like I said, could be one of the best of this genre of all time. So absolutely try it out if you love platformers. If you're not really much of a platformer guy, but it looks interesting, it is absolutely still worth trying. Or if you're kind of unsure about the game, then it is 100% going to be worth it once it goes on sale. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. But overall, I could not recommend this game anymore. And that is, like I said, coming from someone who generally does not play these type of games all that often. But that is going to do it for my initial review of Prince of Persia, guys. Let me know what all of you think. And like I said, come and hang out in the live stream later today to say good day and just watch a bit of raw gameplay and see me, no doubt, getting very, very frustrated at how many times I'm dying. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.